I wouldn't mind at this point if Caitlyn just started her villain arc. She needs to start putting her foot down because some of this stuff is getting a little wild. She comes into the WNBA, her biggest life dream to play professional basketball. She comes into the WNBA. She gets a special whistle the opposite way because she's getting fouled and flagrant fouled, and just the defense that they're playing on her is actually insane. Yet despite all that, has an incredible rookie season. And then on top of that, people are using her name for their hidden agendas on both sides. People are just using Caitlyn's name. And then if she says something, it's not enough. If she doesn't say anything, she never wants to speak out about anything. She cannot win.
Caitlin Clark has reached her breaking
point. And this time, she's making sure everyone hears it. For months, the WNBA has just used her image to boost ratings and headlines, but now Clark is really pushing back hard. Her bold remarks, aimed straight at Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, have totally set off a massive storm across the basketball world. What started as just quiet tension between players and league leadership has now blown up into a full-blown crisis. The spark? It came from Napheesa Collier's fiery 6-minute exit interview, which actually stole the spotlight from the finals. Instead of post-game highlights, everyone was talking about Collier's claim that Engelbert had made this stunning comment about Clark. Caitlin Clark should be grateful for the WNBA, because without it, she wouldn't have all those endorsement deals. That quote, man, it spread like wildfire. Fans were outraged. Players reacted online, and suddenly the league found itself in complete chaos. Desperate to control the story, Engelbert held a press conference right before Game 1 of the finals to try and clarify her stance. But her words only made the backlash even worse. Now, with Clark finally speaking out, the league is facing its biggest image crisis yet.
That you're disheartened by the characterization of your conversation with Napheesa Collier, just again seeking clarity. Did you in fact say that Caitlin Clark should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything? And do you actually feel that way, that without this platform, players like Caitlin Clark wouldn't be making what they do off the court?
Yeah, obviously I did not make those comments. Caitlin has been a transformational player in this league. She's been a great representative of the game. She's brought in tens of millions of new fans to the game. Proud of what she's put on the court. Unfortunately, the injuries held her back from a full season this year. But again, I'm not going to get into every point, counterpoint. It's not productive here. We're here to celebrate the WNBA finals. I think what Indiana just did was amazing with all the injuries they had and the everything they faced this year, bringing that to a Game 5 in overtime. But yeah, as I said, there's a lot of inaccuracies reported out there, and I certainly did not say that.
So Engelbert flat out denied ever making that remark about Caitlin Clark. And then she even took it a step further, suggesting that Collier's version of their private exchange was actually inaccurate. In plain terms, she basically called Napheesa Collier a liar on national television. That's when things really went off the rails. This wasn't just any player airing frustration, you know? Collier is a WNBPA vice president, deeply involved in negotiating the league's collective bargaining agreement. Player salaries, schedules, travel standards, maternity benefits. She has a direct hand in shaping the league's future. So when someone with that much authority calls out the commissioner publicly, it's not just gossip. It's like a political earthquake inside the WNBA. And once Engelbert fired back, the whole situation instantly escalated from just a misunderstanding to a full-blown power struggle between players and league leadership.
And at the end of the day, she's worried about her. In all of her statements, it's all like, well, I got us here and I should. Cathy, no one cares. Literally, no one cares. Like how you're sitting right there, that's how we feel every time she speaks. Every time she speaks, us as players, that's how we feel.
And get this, when Cathy Engelbert publicly dismissed Collier's claims, she didn't just reject a player's story. She completely undercut a union leader who represents every woman in the league. That moment changed everything. Caitlin Clark, who had so carefully avoided controversy all season, finally decided she just couldn't stay silent anymore. For months, she had brushed off all the noise, kept her head down, and just focused on playing basketball. But when reporters pressed her about Collier's comments, she didn't hesitate or hide behind any PR talk. Instead, she gave this calm but super pointed response that sent shockwaves through the WNBA. She said, "I think Fee made a lot of valid points." Just like that, boom, the air in the room shifted. With one line, Clark broke her silence, threw her support behind Collier, and made it crystal clear she was done playing nice. The league's biggest star had officially chosen a side.
Well, I mean, first of all, I have great respect for Fee, and I think she made a lot of very valid points. And, I think what people need to understand, we need great leadership in this time across all levels. This is straight up the most important moment in this league's history. This league's been around for 25 plus years, and this is a moment we have to capitalize on. So that's honestly what I would say. I think Fee said it all with what she said, and I think the points she made were very valid.
That one sentence, and the entire league went totally silent because that line wasn't random. It was a clear message that Caitlin Clark, the absolute face of the WNBA, had officially picked a side. And honestly, who could blame her? This is the same league that's used her name to sell tickets, boost TV ratings, and secure sponsorships, all while letting her take brutal hits on the court with practically zero protection. Remember her rookie season? Clark was fouled harder than anyone else, shoved, hacked, elbowed, and the refs just acted like nothing happened. They called it physical play, but if those same hits happened to LeBron or Steph, we'd be seeing free throws every 5 minutes. So when the commissioner had the perfect chance to show she cared about player safety, but instead just used Caitlin's name to polish the league's image, it's no wonder Clark finally snapped. And then things got even messier. After Cathy Engelbert's press conference, she claimed she'd reached out to Napheesa Collier to schedule a private meeting to smooth things over. But before that could even happen, Collier canceled. She flat out refused to meet. ESPN broke the story. And here's the wild part. Engelbert found out from the media, not from Collier. That's how deep the rift has gotten. The commissioner of the league is learning about canceled meetings from Twitter alerts, and that's where Caitlin Clark came back into the picture. After Collier's cancellation, several players, including Clark's teammates like Lexi Hull, publicly backed Collier, saying she wasn't wrong and that league leadership had completely lost touch with reality. Clark herself didn't post a full statement, but her actions spoke volume. She stopped reposting WNBA content, stayed quiet about the finals, and liked multiple fan tweets criticizing the league's leadership. Fans immediately noticed and started calling it Caitlin Clark's silent protest. And honestly, that's exactly what it feels like, a quiet but powerful message from the league's biggest star saying, "You can't keep using me while disrespecting everyone around me." Now, before anyone calls it an overreaction, consider the bigger picture. The WNBA is heading into its most crucial CBA negotiations ever. Player salaries, benefits, and working conditions are all on the line, and the possibility of a lockout in ownership is scrambling to balance the books. But if the league's top stars start losing faith in leadership, the WNBA could be facing its biggest crisis yet. The problem is, two of the key player representatives at the negotiating table, Napheesa Collier and Breanna Stewart, are also co-founders of Unrivaled, a new off-season league, and that's where the conflict of interest gets super messy. If the WNBA fails to reach a deal, and a lockout happens in 2026, Unrivaled would benefit massively. Players would have no choice but to turn there to earn money. So naturally, owners and executives are suspicious, thinking Collier and Stewart could quietly profit from a WNBA shutdown. And when the league's commissioner ends up in a public feud with one of them, it just makes everything look even worse. That's exactly where Caitlin Clark's frustration comes from. She's watching both sides, the commissioner and the players, use her name as a pawn in their power struggle. All she's trying to do is train, recover from injury, and prepare for next season, yet somehow every headline circles right back to her. Ticket prices, Caitlin Clark. TV ratings, Caitlin Clark. Sponsorships, attendance, even labor negotiations. They all revolve around her name, and yet, she's the one being told she should be grateful for what the league gives her. That's laughable. The truth is, the WNBA needs Caitlin Clark far more than she needs the WNBA. Her games shatter viewership records. Her jersey sales top the charts, and even when she's injured, her story dominates coverage more than the finals themselves. Still, the league can't seem to protect her on the court or support her off, fans have noticed. You can feel the frustration growing online. Everyone sees that the WNBA has been handed one of the biggest marketing gifts in sports history, and somehow keeps finding ways to fumble it. The irony is, Caitlin Clark isn't even asking for superstar treatment. She just wants fairness. A chance to play the game she loves without all the drama, politics, and media spin dragging her name through the mud. But every time she tries to focus on basketball, the league pulls her right back into controversy. And now, that calm patience she showed early in her career, it's gone. This isn't the smiling rookie from This is a veteran who's realized that silence only protects the system, not the player. By backing Collier, even subtly, Caitlin Clark sent a message loud and clear: you're not untouchable. And the fallout has only just begun. Players are dividing into camps. Fans are arguing non-stop. Former stars are even calling this the most embarrassing stretch in WNBA history. Meanwhile, Cathy Engelbert is still hosting polished press conferences about player alignment and stakeholder engagement, while the league she's leading teeters on the edge of collapse. It's wild. Just a few months ago, people were calling this the WNBA's golden age. Now it's starting to look more like the beginning of a reckoning. Expansion teams, record ratings, new investors. Just months ago, the WNBA looked unstoppable. But now people are wondering if there will even be a 2026 season. And let's be honest, that's not on the players, that's on leadership. You can't keep brushing off legitimate player concerns and then expect them to smile for media day. You can't have the most famous athlete in women's basketball feeling alienated from her own league and still try to sell the one big family image. Cathy Engelbert's denial may have been the final straw. Because even if she didn't actually say what Nafisa Collier claimed, the fact that no one believes her says everything. Her credibility is gone, and the worst part, it's no longer about who's right. It's about how catastrophically this was handled. The WNBA let a private disagreement spiral into a full-blown public soap opera right in the middle of its finals. Now every headline about women's basketball isn't about who's winning, it's about who's lying. That's why Caitlin Clark's subtle but firm stance hits so hard. She's not yelling, not posting long statements, she's just letting silence do the talking. And that silence, it's louder than anything Engelbert could ever say from behind a podium. The fans feel it, the sponsors feel it, even ESPN anchors are tiptoeing around it, unsure how to spin this mess. What we're witnessing is a power shift. Players are realizing they don't need the commissioner's approval to have influence. And whether she intended to or not, Caitlin Clark has become the face of that movement. Now that she's publicly aligned with Nafisa Collier, the WNBA has gone into full-blown panic mode. And honestly, they should be. When your biggest star, the one carrying your league's popularity on her back, starts hinting she no longer trusts leadership, you're officially in crisis territory. And the fans aren't holding back. Social media has erupted with outrage, turning Cathy Engelbert into public enemy number one. Threads with thousands of comments calling to fire Cathy are everywhere. Memes are flooding timelines, including one comparing her to the "This Is Fine" dog sitting in a room on fire. It's brutal, it's viral, and it's a PR nightmare the WNBA can't meme its way out of. And for once, fans on both sides, Clark supporters and Collier supporters, actually agree on something. The league's leadership looks completely lost. That's how bad things have got. Even the fans who normally argue over every tiny detail on X or Reddit are united in one simple take: this is embarrassing. Now, to be fair, not everyone is blindly picking sides. Some argue that maybe Collier should have kept things private, or that Caitlin Clark should have stayed out of it altogether. But honestly, that's impossible now. When you're the face of the WNBA, silence itself becomes a statement. If Caitlin says nothing, she's accused of ignoring real issues. If she speaks up, she's blamed for fueling drama. No matter what she does, she's trapped in an impossible position. And the league is the one that put her there. They made her the face of everything. Every commercial, every promo, every highlight reel. They built their brand around Caitlin Clark. And now that the storyline's spiraling out of control, they're suddenly acting shocked. Please, it's like they forgot that when you make one player the centerpiece of your entire league, you also give her the power to shape how the public sees you. And Caitlin Clark is now using that power, quietly but decisively. You can tell she's done playing nice. You can tell she's tired of seeing her name dragged through front office politics, union infighting, and hollow empowerment speech. She's not asking for special treatment, She's asking for honesty and fairness, and the fans are right there with her. But here's where things get serious. This isn't just a PR problem anymore. It's a potential business crisis. The WNBA is in the middle of negotiating its next collective bargaining agreement. The deal that determines everything from player salaries and season length to travel conditions and benefit. And if these talks collapse, which at this rate looks increasingly possible, the league could be facing a lockout in 20. That means no season, no games, no paychecks. Total shutdown. And if that happens, the league's so-called golden age could come to a grinding halt, not because of a lack of talent or fan interest, but because of leadership failure at the top. And the worst part, all of this chaos is happening during the biggest growth period in WNBA history. Sponsors, investors, and TV networks are finally paying attention. Attendance is up, ratings are breaking records, and for the first time ever, mainstream audiences are tuning in. This was supposed to be the league's breakout moment, the start of a new era powered by the Caitlin Clark effect. But instead of capitalizing on the momentum, the WNBA is tripping over its own success. Cathy Engelbert's press conferences aren't helping either. Every time she steps to the mic, it's the same recycled talking points. We're listening, we value our players, we're working toward unity. It's all corporate filler, and fans are tired of it. Meanwhile, players are tweeting fire emojis and posting memes about being silenced. The disconnect between leadership and reality couldn't be clearer. Even coaches are starting to speak out, albeit carefully. Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White, who has defended Caitlin before, once called her a pawn in other people's games. That quote has aged perfectly, because that's exactly what this feels like now, a giant chess match where Caitlin Clark keeps getting moved around without any say in it. The scary part, the league still doesn't seem to grasp how serious this has become. They think it'll all blow over once the finals wrap up. Spoiler, it won't. Caitlin Clark has changed the WNBA's entire power dynamic. She's not just a player anymore, she's a brand, a movement, and practically an economy on her own. When someone like that starts losing trust in leadership, the whole system starts to shake. And look at the timing. Nafisa Collier cancels her meeting with Engelbert. Players start posting messages of solidarity. Caitlin sides, even subtly, with Collier. Then the commissioner tries to act like everything's fine, while reporters are openly asking if there will even be a 2026 season. That's not business as usual. That's a full-blown rebellion brewing inside the WNBA, and you can already see the ripple effects spreading fast. Sponsors are getting nervous. Networks are asking uncomfortable questions. Even NBA executives are reportedly whispering behind the scenes about whether Adam Silver might need to step in and clean house. After all, the WNBA still operates under the NBA's umbrella. And if things keep spiraling, Silver could be forced to make the move everyone's been avoiding, replacing Cathy Engelbert. If that happens, it would mark the biggest shakeup in league history. And honestly, maybe it's overdue, because whether you side with Nafisa Collier or not, the fact that so many players feel unheard says everything you need to know about the state of leadership. The disconnect isn't just about one quote or one controversy. It's about years of players feeling dismissed, disrespected, and undervalued. Caitlin Clark didn't create this storm, but her response has brought it to the surface for the world to see.